Okay, so I would say marhaba to everyone, and I'm thankful to Dr. Faiza to invite me to deliver this talk. And I'm also part of Beykoz University, and most of maybe some of you know me. But I last semester I was there, and I remain engaged with teaching and research, and it's a very really good time to be there. And also I have good memories with all my colleagues, and I still think the Beykoz is my own university, and I'm really happy to today to with you. So let me introduce myself. I'm Professor Dr. Shehzad Ahmed Mehman, and currently I'm working in Faculty of Engineering and Technology at University of Sindh, Pakistan. And so I'm going to deliver today the talk on about the field of cybersecurity and privacy, because this is the field where especially my research or my expertise mostly now in this area. So today I'm going to deliver and focus on these four sections, which we will discuss in this seminar. At beginning, I want to explain to understand about cybersecurity and privacy. And then I will talk about very specific research areas on which I'm working actually, and I gained some experience, which I will share as well. And then current research challenges, because for the field which we are going to discuss today, it's really kind of a very big market of this cybersecurity area, and a lot of research challenges exist. So we will discuss on that. And also we will discuss on what will be the research direction in future, because these challenges, is always remain. So we'll discuss on both level of challenges which are happening now and which will be happening in future. And first of all, if you look at the what's definition of cybersecurity, because you already maybe knowing about information security, and there is a lot of news sometime that someone hacked the systems and break the passwords. So, and some criminals, they have steal the money from the bank accounts, and they also use them credit card information as well. So actually this all align about the cyber world. And so when we look at the specific what security is, basically it's all about a field which actually used for to protect, and all the technology we are using, and also to restore electronic communication services and systems. So this all cybersecurity field is related to give the ideas about to protect our systems, and which will actually help to give us some the facility, or give us some kind of support to protect our computer systems, our other systems which we are using now every day, and also the various infrastructure which are connected. And so NIST is basically National Institute of Standards and Technology, which gives a particular definition. There are various ways to define it, but that's we consider as a the definition of cybersecurity. And also we call it's basically ability or your expertise to protect or defend the use of cyberspace from cyber attacks. So we have these two terms, cyberspace and cyber attacks. So cyberspace, we are now connected to the internet all the time. So this term is known as cyberspace. And when anyone tried to breach anything on this cyberspace, this is known as a cyber attack. We have another term which is nowadays very important, which we call the data privacy or information privacy. Basically, in this area is basically is defined for to protect the data from and proper handling of sensitive data. So when we look at the data, because the data is very important, and so it can include your personal data, your confidential data, maybe your medical history, your bank account details, which call the financial data, any type of financial data, and you have a certain intellectual property data. For example, you're working on some project which is has some novel, the kind of ideas. So that's basically the intellectual property kind of data. And there are various companies around the world which are actually designing the different kind of systems, like, for example, Boeing company, and even the Microsoft, even the companies which actually develop the games. So they have all these intellectual property data. So the protection of that data is also have a certain effects if it leaked. And then there is also, the important to understand what exists, what type of data protections we are actually nowadays thinking about. So we can say data privacy or data protection, because European Union, they have developed some standards to protect the privacy. So they call it data protection. So data protection and data privacy is like, to maintain the security of data. That are interchangeable terms. Now, if we look at the data protection, we can see the three categories. So one is the traditional data protection, and the second category is data security, and third one is the data privacy. Now, further going to explain these terms, because while you are talking about cyber security and we are saying the privacy, so we can say the data security is basically the cyber security related things, and data privacy has a specific component there. Now, if we look at the traditional data protection things, which we have, like to protect data from the replication, somebody if want to try to replicate the data, so we have to protect it. Maybe that replication can be used for the various purposes. Like, for example, we have to making the copies of some audio data. We have a collection of audio songs which we actually copyrighted. But what we do, we just copy them, and it can be shared to anyone. Like nowadays, torrents, the mostly people, they download many things from the torrents as well. And after downloading, they also make the copies of that, and they sell it, they share it. So that's also important. That comes as to protect that activity. And then we have a backup and restore as well. We have a physical infrastructure, so we have to protect those. We have a certain data centers, and we will not allow someone to enter and copy the data from the systems or transfer the data from that system to somewhere else. So these are various the data protections which is make them as a traditional data protection terms. Then we have a data security. So when we say how we secure our data, so we have a various techniques which we call like encryption. That's kind of you transfer the data or you receive the data in a certain form of coding, and the encryption is using in most of in our communication, even when we send the messages on WhatsApp or when we communicate to through the different messengers. So there's some encryption techniques they use, and also there's a threat monitoring mechanism. So when any kind of activity happen, which may be cause of to data theft or to make changes in the data. So there is also a field which exists which called the threat monitoring. We have authentication as well, that the only authenticated users can get access on the data. And also we have other things like if any breach happens, so how we can recover that. And so the breaches are possible, like the data, the cyber criminals, basically they actually gain access on the financial data, they gain access on the medical data as well. So then we have to know about how to recover that. And we have also access controls in the same way. When now we look at the data privacy, so it actually is some certain policies, some legal processes. We have some practices. So when we talk about the data privacy, we have to, implement some policies. We have some legalization in case of breaching the privacy, so we can access that. So these are like, the different way to look at data protection things. Now here, it's categorized that what kind of, the difference, how can we differentiate between them? So the data security is basically protects data from by any external attacker or malicious insider, while data privacy is about how the data is collected, shared, and used. So these are now two terms which we can, make them, define them very clearly. So we have like research is going on in data security, where there are, the many people who are working on to develop different encryption techniques, and also they have threat monitoring or intrusion detection systems, and there are also authentication mechanisms, access controls, like nowadays, while you have a mobile phone, cell phone, so you have various ways to log in onto your mobile phone, not just the PIN code, but now you have a biometric security, face recognition, and also there are many various ways to, these patron, inputting the patrons to log in on your mobile phone. So these are all are related to the data security. And there are some mechanisms which are basically the combining the one or two techniques together to make it more secure. And then we have also policies, we have classifications, we have some frameworks for data privacy. So in like in European Union, they have also developed GDPR, which is basically a privacy framework, which is implemented around the Europe as well, and many other countries they adopted same. So these are basically the legal, the things, and also the policies which related to data privacy. Then we have, if we talk about the tools, so what kind of tools are, we can say what kind of, we have softwares or hardware which can use to protect that, which are also categorized according to the, data security tools and data privacy tools. So when we talk about data security tools, so we have identity and access management systems, so which include biometrics as well, RFID, and various ways to identify a person and give access to the system. So is a lot of research is going on these all areas. So where we only focus on to identify and give access to a person which is is eligible to get this data or to check that data. So we have a various identification method, which I just gave the example like biometrics, and then we have a data loss prevention solution. If any case we have to have some protection mechanism, so we should not lose the data, because if someone breach the security, so that also may create a situation where we lose the data from that. So we have to some solutions to prevent that. We have also to think about anti-malware software. So the malware word is basically the malicious software. It's the software, but it's a malicious software. But anti-malware software, like Windows Defender, it has anti-malware software. So when any kind of malicious code which execute in the system, so it will actually prevent access to give access to that system. We have antivirus softwares, but now we have in latest we have like the malwares mostly. So virus is a subcomponent of malware. There are many kind of malwares we will discuss in later slides. We have event management softwares, like when we have like research is going on when you log in onto systems, so they will all recorded in log files of the system. So there are various softwares which actually give help to that. So we have, when anytime we get access on system or any activity we do from the system, so it will actually, all events will be manage and record it. We have a data masking and de-identification softwares as well. So that can also for the data protection. So in privacy tools, we have a password managers, we have a private browsers and search engines. For private browsers, you might familiar with DuckDuckGo browser. We have Mozilla. There's also they have options, Onion, Tar browsers. So mostly incognito modes in the Chrome browser as well. So these all are basically which actually designed for to keep your privacy. So maybe you are familiar with these all browsers, like especially the Tor browser, which I think preferably used by the most of the people who want to do the browsing anonymously. So, and then we have encrypted messaging systems as well. We have a web proxy, file encryption softwares. There are various softwares where you can allow you to, encrypt your data, even the email encryption. And there are ad and tracker blockers because a lot of advertising is coming on social media while you access, on your cell phone, or even when you are using these free applications. So there's a lot of ads and trackers. They actually can be, appear in your mobile. So there are some tools which actually block them. Like in Chrome, we have an extension as well where we ad blocker extension. So you can use that as well if you are browsing. So you don't want to allow the ads as well. So we have a certain tools which actually block these ads and trackers. So it keeps our privacy in a better situation. Now, these are some cyber threats which we can see in this year. So I have found the source I given where they mention these all important threats. So when we say there are always threats, so we have to work on the security in all these domains. So it includes the Internet of Things, supply chain, and there is now we are in the age of artificial intelligence as well. And we have a cellular phones, and we are connected to the various cloud services. And there are various, the intelligent, the tools are available which you can use. We are using now the blockchain, and, we are now using cryptocurrencies as well. So we are in an age where, this scenario is grown. So it's many issues are every day reported by the different, the cybersecurity researchers as well. And also there are many organizations who all the time work on it, because like if we look at like ransomware attacks, so they become like a very serious kind of cyber threats, which actually what they do, they actually encrypt your whole data on the system, and they ask you to pay them, ransom. After that, they will decrypt your data. In other case, they will delete all data. So a very practical example of ransomware was held in, if I say in 2016 or 17, there was a very big ransomware attack happened around the Europe, which affected the Spain, mobile company from Spain, and also it attack onto the healthcare systems in UK. NHS is a very big, kind of healthcare system, and it's world-renowned system. So the ransomware attack happened, and why it happened very interesting, because of the systems where they use this attack, they were not updated. Even the Microsoft, they send the like updates, but the people who are using those NHS systems, they never update the Windows, because normally we receive the message for the updates. So that was the thing. So that's why the security expert always refer that you should update your Windows or other licensed software which you are using. So updates are very important. Then we have Internet of Things, which I will explain in next slide as well. But we have like, the artificial intelligence powered cyber threats. So as the AI is giving us facilities, so now There are various threads, even like Chat GPT, you can generate the various codes as well, which you can write in Python and can be like malware, malicious code. So this also gives facility to the many cyber criminals, so they can easily write the codes for which can be used as malicious codes for the systems. And we have the sixth number is like advanced persistence threat, which I want to explain. That's a very kind of dangerous threat, which actually the purpose of that threat is to actually damage the whole system. One example which happened like in 2016, the Stuxnet, it was APT. So that threat actually executed in a nuclear reactor in Iran, and it took actually the almost it attack was like the nuclear plant was almost become near to in a very dangerous or critical position, because they changed the rotation of the motors which are be using for the to control the nuclear reaction. This was the most dangerous kind of threat which reported in this world. And same, we have like mobile malwares and vulnerabilities every day, because now the cell phone are part of our life. So all the time when we are using these free apps like WhatsApp, very common, Facebook. So these all are applications are free, but so if I would say they are not free, but they get your permission to gain access on the data. And all the time, these applications open some ports, some routes, some kind of ways to these cyber criminals, so they can use those permissions and can be gain access on your contacts, gain access on your camera, gain access, turn on the microphone as well. So there's a lot of privacy issues are reported with mobile phones, not just mobile phones, with all the smart devices, including the smart televisions, smart wristwatch. It's a lot of research, is going on. So they are also one very vulnerable component. And through this mobile, we are doing a lot of work nowadays. So, and we're using managing our bank accounts. We are managing our businesses as well. So there's a lot of happening. So this is one of the very kind of critical devices nowadays. We have a certain insider threats, very interesting, because in some companies there are employees who are not perform well, so the organization maybe in them to take out from the companies or things, so they become aggressive and they started to be use their already they have accounts or access, so they can use that as a to generate various cyber threats as well. So this is also one of the interesting component. We have also the cryptocurrency related threats, especially the people who likes to do the mining, cryptocurrency mining. So they actually, through that, they can add the different malicious codes into the system, and so that they can be cause, and many people who are involved in these cryptocurrency mining, they can be cause of to generate these different attacks as well. And we have a phishing techniques. Might be you are familiar, and maybe because phishing technique is like you receive an email that you received the prize, you have won the prize, or you have received some amount from some organization, and even maybe it's in form of a text message, in form of a social media message, or someone can put a comment in your post, the click on that link and you might gain some benefit from that. So they are very catchy kind of things. So they are basically phishing pins. So if somebody will click them, so that system will be compromised. And so is a lot of phishing attacks happen every day, which is reported on the various the forums. Now IoT, you might familiar that Internet of Things. So I add one diagram, like you see a one cell phone So we are connected. We can control most of the things through our cell phone. Our smartwatch is connected, and we can watch the CCTV cameras on our phone. We are also have a car key through our. We can unlock and lock our car through the cell phone app. We can pay the data through these applications. We can control various appliances. So this is all the world of Internet of Things, more connectivity. So we are using them for facilitate ourselves, but they can be like this interaction, create a lot of different possibilities of the attacks. So it includes like communication attacks. So when you are transmitting data from one device to another, so the attackers can take that data, and they can even use these all devices. For example, one case is reported in Pakistan recently. So this case was very kind of related to privacy. So the many companies who install the CCTV cameras, so the owner, he actually forget to change the passwords, or so the people who install those cameras, they also were able to record those the activities of a house. So after recording all that, they release on the media. So it become a big problem. So, and then we have the IoT devices which can be vulnerable, and there can be the cyber attack on the software level, and they can change maybe they change their passwords, they may change their access levels, so they can maybe keep them open for everyone, so everybody can watch those CCTV cameras, and they can turn on, turn off the devices at the home. So yes, it's possible. And there are physical attacks as well. And so with the IoT is a big challenge, which is because of their heterogeneous nature. They are using various communication technologies, including 5G, 4G, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So at every layer of the Internet of Things, there are different type of attacks can be happen. And this is one of the very challenging, with to protect the IoT devices from the cyber attacks. And we have like smart systems now. Every time we talk about the smart, so not just the smartphone, we have a concept of smart transportation. We have a smart grids as well, which supply the power, microgrids, smart grids. And so there's less people now, more the things are becoming automated. And so we are living in an age of smart. We have a smart factory where there's no need of workers. So all things are going to be full automated, and the machines communicate to each other. The all operations are monitored by that. So this is going to be various new concepts. We have a smart warehouses. We have a smart healthcare, like in hospital, the patients, they can be monitored remotely. And then if they need anything, so that will generate the alerts. We can see these practically now in many countries, like in China, in USA, South Korea. So they are using these systems to monitor these healthcares. And then we have a smart transportation system, and I think in Istanbul, I have seen that driverless metros as well. So this is one example of a smart transportation. And in many countries where these rapid bus transfer systems and their timings, the schedulings which happen automatically, but you can see they all the time communicate each other. They all the time transfer information, share information. And the users using the apps to see the schedule of the transportation as well. So that connectivity is making them, vulnerable. And this can be cause of to generate the various cyber attacks. And then most important is we have a critical infrastructures as well. So like the water systems, water supply systems, dams, they are also controlled through the modern technology. We have space satellites. Every country has these programs, satellites and other space machines they are running. So they are all controlled. They are connected through the internet as well. And if we are traveling into the aeroplane, we now we can access the internet, we have a connectivity of the navigation, everything. So these systems are categorized as a critical. Why we call them critical? Because they can disturb the whole, the activities which actually have an impact on society as well and economy. So these services all are for, if any kind of cyber attack happen, this can create a lot of disturbance, and also there's environmental damage. It might be financial loss. It may be the personal injuries as well. Like if somebody will hack the transport system, which we say the autonomous cars which are moving on the roads. If we look at that scenario, and all of a sudden a cyber attack happen, and it start to, kind of a situation where the cars start to collide because they are changing they are monitoring their movements through this system. So these kind of scenarios are very dangerous. Like USA, they also categorize these critical infrastructures, and so they look at them in the security of those systems become like very critical, because if any cyber attack happen, it can also create a not just financial loss, but it can disrupt the life, and maybe it affects the humans damages as well. One of the if I can recall, one attack was happening in USA grids in kind of almost 5 or 10 years ago, and it disturbed the supply of the electricity in New York City, and it was become blackout in that time. So that was a very serious attack. In last 3 months ago, there was an attack happening to the USA airport, where there is like the schedule of the flights. That attack actually disturbs the whole schedule of the flights, and the ransomware used to that. So they also, the group who actually encrypt the whole data of that flight schedules, they were actually gain the some benefit in terms of, well, but actually that was a critical the infrastructure, so that disturbed a lot of activities there. And then we have a cloud forensics, because nowadays we have feel like the forensics is we using from the many years, but now we are talking about the forensics which is related to digital, the technology. It includes computer forensics, network forensics, multimedia forensics, mobile forensics, memory forensics, and cloud forensics. Why I mentioned the cloud? Because now, like we discussed, the IoT, this age of the fog computing, so the clouds are the center point, and if any cyber attack activity happen at that, so they can, we can track down, we can see the logs, we can examine and analyze, and we can see from where that attack generated. So this is also a very growing field. So because the various clouds, all the time we are connected to the clouds. And also this forensics is for the mobile as well. So mobile forensics is a very interesting area where you have from the mobile, you can find a lot of information. And that actually gives us, if somebody who is trying to attack any financial system, or, through the mobile phone, through the cell phone. So they can be detected by those logs, and after analysis, they can be found that, what kind of activities has done through the mobiles. We have memory forensics as well. So this is quite a big field, but cloud forensics is a dominant is nowadays. Then we have another area which we call the risk assessment, and currently we are working on 2 risk assessment models. One is for medical diagnostic labs, and second is for risk assessment for autonomous vehicles, basically. So risk assessment area is basically a field which actually before attack, we develop the scenarios, we create scenarios, we apply the attacks, and we see how that attack is impact on the systems at various levels. So we have a like network assessment, we have a security assessment, we have a vulnerability assessments. So this assessment area, we have a certain predefined security risk frameworks, including the NIST also give us a one risk assessment framework, and ISO also give a one cybersecurity risk assessment, but they are very general. But what we are doing, basically, we are doing to be the specific, the areas which I consider as very critical, even in healthcare. In healthcare, some components are, we say, and if they are cyber attack happen, they become like the loss of the human life. So we focus on like that. In the same way as I said that, like in autonomous vehicle or in a smart transport network, if some attack happen on the communication channels, so they may cause of the accidents on the road, and that create a like maybe false information which can lead the human loss as well. So my focus is to assess those systems and develop certain models which actually assess to measure the risk in those systems. Now, if we look at what are the current challenges, we have artificial intelligence is a big challenge for us, which I say, and we have a like attacks on mobile devices. Yes, very common, and attacks on supply chain. So it can disturb the system. If cyber attack happen on supply chain, it can disturb the supermarkets and many other supply chain systems. We have a targeted ransomwares. Basically now, the ransomware is not just the game. Now they are targeting which systems are important. So I think if we look at these critical infrastructures, and I give you example of like in a USA airport, they were actually attack the ransomware and they disturb the schedule of the flight. So that's like a very kind of a challenge, how to protect these systems from these ransomwares. And then we have a data privacy laws. Yes, that's also needs to review, because some countries, they implemented data privacy laws and somewhere they don't have, so there's a need of a lot of work how to implement that. And we have to like cloud security as well, IoT. Then we have now next generation wireless communication networks are coming up, like 5G is now in 6G, 7G. So when these new communication networks are emerging with the system, so they create another research challenges. And overall, I think another important challenge is awareness, cybersecurity awareness, which I think is very important, because now most of the population is using the smartphone. They are using connected to the internet, and the financial systems are there. So, and even the children are using the cell phone. So we need of more awareness how to use, and how to access the different services. So we should aware if any kind of phishing link we are receiving, how we know that email which we receive is from the right person, or it is a phishing email, or the messages we are receiving, and also the advertising, if we are clicking on some ad, it causes of to inject a malware in those devices as well. So awareness, I think, is a very, very important nowadays. That's also one of the challenge for cybersecurity. And if we look at the future directions, I would say, like, through using this artificial intelligence, there can be like a disinformation campaigns. Is like nowadays, even we can see the news medias, and even especially in social media, sometimes like there's a political situation, war situation is going around. So there's a lot of disinformation is going, which can be cause of these cyber attacks. So for example, if some information is shared that like mostly in our neighbors in India and Pakistan, it happens that some different information happen, like India is attack on the Pakistani defense website. So if some social media post popped out and from the official account, and so they also create consequences. So, the other people start to attack on those servers as well. So a lot of disinformation campaigns can cause of cyber attacks around the world. And nowadays we are living in a world where every time somewhere the war is going on. So, and there's a Kaspersky map. If you just search Kaspersky threat map on Google, you will find that live, the attacks on each country, which is happening at the moment. And then we have a rise of digital surveillance. And so we say like mostly now we are using the CCTV cameras. We have like systems which always, when we cross, they take our pictures or video footages. So this basically also have a loss of privacy. It can be loss of privacy. If someone, take that data, and they can collect the data from those systems. Like in a transportation network, there are CCTVs, and there are CCTV for different premises. So this can be, gain access on the data through the cyber attacks, and which can be cause of loss of privacy as well. As one of the example I give, like CCTV system, which is hacked here in Pakistan. And then we have also advanced hybrid threats as well. So this can be like the various kind of threats can be combined and execute simultaneously. For example, if we are ready to handle the some software which is like antivirus, one of the Trojan control system, but all of a sudden Trojan botnets, so they all become together. So that will be create a hybrid kind of threats. And shortage of skills as well. This can be, kind of a one threat. As I said, the awareness is very important. For example, if we have a like phishing attack on my cell phone, so I don't have a skill to handle that. So yes, that's also very important. And in field of cybersecurity, we in 2030, this is another aspect that we need more people who have expertise on these security areas. So yes, that's also the need of it. And so that's all about the future direction. Thank you very much. So I try my best to summarize everything, but to be honest, it's a lot of information, which editing this one. So I hope you gain some knowledge, some idea about the area of cybersecurity. So this is the end of the presentation. Any question or anything you want to ask? So you're welcome.
Firstly, let me express my gratitude to Professor Shahzad for coming and offering us this invaluable insights. We are very thankful for joining us and your contributions.
You're welcome.
I think some of the students have like some questions.
Yeah.
So Rania says, she says, does forensics means analysis?
So these questions are in chat, I think.
Yes.
Okay. I can check one by one.
Or they may ask with the microphone as well.
Yeah, that will be fine if they want to ask. Yes.
Yeah, hello, sir. First of all, thank you so much for the conference. My question was, when you mentioned about the forensics, I would have loved if I can know the meaning of it. I thought it's analyzed, but I don't know if it is that.
Yes, forensics. Okay. So yes, forensic is basically to identify, then collect the facts and figures, and then examine. Normally the forensics is happen from many years. If some murder happened, so they collect the evidences and find out why it happened. Okay, yeah, who was the person behind it. But now in computers, we have like security. So if somebody want to breach the security, some want to use, that system without our permission and gain access on those systems. And they gain it, they gain access it. But now what we are going to do, we want to identify, we want to see who was the person involved with that, or for example, from which computer that attack has been generated. So finding those, the traces, and then analyze it, and then we can finalize the origin of the cyber attack activity.
Okay, thank you so
Yes,
much.
Mani, you're
It's
welcome.
clear.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I think the Isa Samir asked about will we discuss AI in cybersecurity? As I said, yes, the artificial intelligence is using for the defensive cybersecurity and offensive cybersecurity. So in defensive purposes, like they are embedding the artificial intelligence in intrusion detection systems where they are using deep learning, machine learning, so they can detect the emerging attacks. Because normally these intrusion detection systems, they actually have some database which is already defined. So if any attack will cross those intrusion detection systems, so they will match with that database. But actually, if that attack has changed, because the malwares which are polymorphism, basically they change their shape, they change their certain code. So when that code crosses to the intrusion detection system, it will be unable to detect it, and that threat can be easily bypassed there. So in that way, we have to now emerging field, like to add the AI features into the intrusion detection system, so they detects the emerging attack. If any attack which happened, so it will detect. It's not based on anomaly or only signature based detection. And another question, I hope you got it. Isa is here, I think.
Yes, I think he's here.
Okay. Okay, Isa, is it clear, this question? Isa? Because you have asked a series of questions, so I'm going to one by one. And then you have mentioned about advertising companies. Yes, as I say, cookies definitely when it installed, it actually tracks the activities while you are browsing. So mostly nowadays, it is common, every website when you'll go, they will ask you to install, to allow the cookies, or allow the selected cookies. So yes, that's very important to knowing about which cookies you want to install or which you don't want. So while you are surfing online, and if some website asks you to install, so you can read those cookies and then you can install it. Okay, so I think Kazi Tamidul, yes. Yes,
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Actually, maybe my question is a bit out of context.
Yeah.
I was thinking like we can use the artificial intelligence as an offensive measure in cybersecurity. But
Yes.
is there any chance, like if it gets corrupted, say for example, some bad people, they actually taught the artificial intelligence system that survival of the fittest, then it wants to survive, and it thinks that it is the best and we are the worst.
Yeah. Yes.
So it can turn against us. This is
Yes.
possible because it is thinking like human. More it is being trained, it is more thinking like human.
Yes. I mean, these all are the things which they're possible through the artificial intelligence. So the people who are working on defense side, the offensive side is more dangerous even, So
Yeah,
even sometime it's something wrong activity is happening, but the system may understand it's right activity. So yes. It's all possible through that. So there's like, you know, the artificial intelligence ethics, and now they are thinking about the how to use it, at what level you can use it. And even when you use this Google Bard, Google Chat GPT, so sometimes they generate the message that this is up to my knowledge, and yes, so possible. Yes. Mariam Ibrahim, yes, she asked about his cybersecurity specialist need a strong background in big data or data analysis. So, Mariam, it's depend on which area of cybersecurity you are going to, you know, a specialist. You might be have a like malware analyst. You might be have a like forensics, cloud forensics expert. You might be working on defensive side of the cybersecurity. There are various domains of defensive. You want to protect the systems from the botnets. So it's depend on that. So, but generally the big data and data analysis, it's good to have the knowledge of it. For example, especially in the field of where you have to you know, analyze different malicious codes, and you might analyze the impact of the different cyber attacks, like in risk assessment system, you have to analyze the impact of that. So the data analysis is part of that. And another question asked by the Muhammad Jalidi: what are the most significant cyber threats facing critical infrastructure today? It's ransomware, and also the botnets as well. So these two attacks are most significant. The one most challenging is nowadays ransomware, which is you know, when they encrypt the data and then they ask the ransom until. So there are solutions in critical infrastructure. For example, if we have a multiple backup, so we can make a backups which are offline backups, not just online backup. So we can save some of the data. There are possible, but this ransomware attack is the one of the challenge in that. Okay, and let me see some other questions. Yes, how can smart system be protected against unauthorized access and cyber attacks? Again, I said, like in your cell phone or any you know, the system which you are using, they always needs to be upgraded. The companies, they are working most of the time to upgrade these softwares. So we have to update those systems. This is one of the solution. And when you say that against unauthorized access, so we need awareness about it. As I said, awareness is a very important component. So we should know, like, for example, I have fixed the, you know, some password or some, you know, kind of PIN code. But like, for example, that PIN code is very simple. Sometimes you keep your password with your name, your cell phone, maybe, you know, your surname. So sometimes this is very important if you want to stop this unauthorized access. So you need to know about these all techniques. Then we have a question from Jamaat Ali. As we rely on AI on hardware level nowadays, is any possibility that can we fully protect data on a civilian level with the help of AI? I would say, like, this is an era which is started like a couple of years. I would say it's not a long time, because now, as you said, we have a good hardwares, so they can process the AI algorithms as well. So we are at this level, so we start to see the applications. In last 5 years, we have seen many applications of AI in market now. So yes, it can be possible, but we have to see that how it can be help us to not fully protect. I say, if you say the fully protect, I still not believe, because as the technology is changing, like I said, now the communication is emerging as well. We are using 5G, but next will be the 6G, 7G, and so then it will change the whole scenario. Now we have a software defined networks as well. So mostly now we are going away from the hardware. So mostly we have software defined things. Yes. So it's a area where we have to see what's going on. Then Abdul Samad Chauhan, they asked me what are the standard general protocols we use for cybersecurity and big data. Now, I need to clarification of this question, Abdul Samad, if you can explain.
Yeah, actually, hello, Professor. Thank you for your
Yes.
time for joining us. And
Yes.
actually, like before, back in time, like I did like my bachelor's in IoT based
Yeah.
smart grid system. So there
Yes.
are some protocols like which we need to follow. Like there are some standard, network and all these things included in IoT, and
Mhm.
the cloud computing, like where the data will go through like some sensors and all that.
Mhm.
So, like, I want to know, like, there are some protocols which we follow in the IoT. So, how we can, like, is there like same protocols for cybersecurity available, like as IoT things, or like, is there like there are some specific protocol, like, let's say there is one is network, you can say like network protocol in IoT. So we use that protocol to upload the data on Google Cloud. So like we can like how we can use the standard method or some standard cybersecurity thing to protect the data of IoT devices that are uploading data on cloud.
Okay, now again, I would say that there are various protection systems which are available. And also like in IoT, the one major cyber attack is the botnets. The botnet is like, there are thousands of the computers, they are actually communicating onto the network, onto the one system. So that was like DDoS attacks in past, but now they are botnets, so this automatically is happening. If we talk about the protocols, I would say like maybe you are asking about some, the techniques which can be used to protect the IoTs as well. But when I say the protocol, the one term is popping out, so routing protocols. It's like, the communication which are using for
No, specifically,
communications
I
as
want
well.
to know about the protection of a data, that protocol, like
Protection
how
of data. So you are asking that what are the procedures, what are the techniques are using to protect the data? Okay.
yeah, or maybe is there like some standard, like you can say like some
Mm.
standard or general protocol which we use like in general applications, not so in depth, but just a general protocol like this.
Okay, so Beryl, in the way I would say that, these are the similar, like you want to protect the authentication, you want to protect the integrity of the system. Like in information system, we have the three things we always keep to secure. So even it's a IoT, even it's a like AI-based system, it's sense. So these all will be the similar confidentiality, integrity, and authentication. So we have to maintain these, the things. Then if they all three are maintained, it will have like less effect of that attack.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And then how can Fahad Muhammad asked, how can you avoid a brute force attack and the basic difference between hashing and encryption? Brute force attack is common to breach the passwords, and so this can be generated like as tools are available which you can use now. To avoid a brute force attack, the important is you have to strong passwords as well. So I would say when you have to technique, like last semester, we have done some engineering level 2 projects, and so the student has developed one application so it can generate the random passwords according to different, so the important is you have to a strong password, which I think can be a protection from the brute force. And you have asked another hashing and encryption. So if you just ask about encryption, so we have to basically convert data into in a form where not if someone will steal that data, it will be unable to read that. So that's mostly the about encryption. And we have to another question from Muhammad Jilidi. Are there specific industries or sectors that are more vulnerable in cyber attacks in 23? All the critical infrastructure, which I say, the smart systems, so they all you know, I would say like the healthcare industry, after COVID-19, most of the, you know, these healthcare systems, they are switched into the smart or IoT based systems. So this is one of the sector which is now more prone to the cyber attacks. And then the like CCTV networks. So yes, that's our kind of a Internet of Things network as well. And that's also vulnerable to the cyber attacks, which actually has a take on the privacy. And we have like power sector, we have like smart grid stations, and we have many other systems which we rely on that. Even I would say like smart transportation system as well. So these are the most of the industries which are more vulnerable to the cyber attacks in 2023. And Cesar could ask about, what about the costs? These products are too expensive actually. What is your advice to little and mid or even big level companies where to start and into? This question is basically depend on the company, you know, and because if, you know, the companies at massive levels, so they definitely needs their businesses, the businesses are around the globe. So definitely they invest into the, you know, these systems. And so they invest on these cyber security devices as well. And those companies also has to, you know, do the risk assessment process as well in a like every 6 months, every, at least I would suggest in a year. So after that, they can find out what the vulnerabilities can be happened. So then they can upgrade those components of the their, you know, the system. Not necessary that they put every expensive thing, even they are not earning at that level and they have the business, very limited business, as you said, it's very expensive. So before implementing that, they have to do the risk assessment processes. So they can check where they have need to protect their system. So they can protect those components. Maybe some components, they are not important for them if it affects through the cyber attacks. So that will not have a big impact on, you know, that company. So the risk assessment will help them basically. So they can save the cost. They can do the first risk assessment and then they can deploy what their need is. Cesar, is it okay? You got my answer?
Yeah, thank you, Professor.
Okay, you're welcome. And then Rania, yes, Rania, you want to ask some more questions?
Yes, actually, I have 2 other questions, but they are more like not technical.
Yeah.
The first one is, for example, in my phone, for example, so it used the voice data so that they know what I'm talking about, etc. And Google will, the ads that will appear to me related to the subject that I talked about it. So my question is, for example, I can block this when I go to the parameters and I block it and stuff, but is that, I mean, legal? So that when I first open my phone, I mean, they authorize this thing. They authorize that they use my voice data to give me the ads and stuff. Is that legal? And the second question is, there is some markets or there is some mobile applications where they ask you to, for example, to take pictures of in your neighborhood and stuff, so that they sell those data. I mean, is that also legal or not?
Basically, if you talk about specifically the Google Android phones, so we actually give them permission, and we accept everything when we install, because the Google give us these all free, the OS free applications. So when we are using the free, as I said in my presentation, is nothing is free.
Yeah.
So they actually earn from the data, what from your data, basically. It's a big business, So
Okay.
they are earning from that. So in that point of view, basically you give them permission. If I'm buying an Android phone and I'm signing, okay, I will accept all terms and condition, and I will use the free services. I'll do, the applications are free for me. So then, we don't have anything in our hands because we are agreed to use that. But for example, like Apple, is very expensive phone. Why? That's the reason,
Yes.
because they have certain privacy, and so they don't share that data to anyone without permission. I'm not sure nowadays, but there was one case which I studied, that even the law enforcement agencies asked them to give the data of a user. So they said, no, this is not our policy, because we have signed, the terms and conditions, so we will not give it to you. It's only the authorized by that user. But like for the Google case, yes, we cannot claim anything because we give them permission to, use the data to track our things. That's the reason.
Okay, thank you. And for the mobile applications that sell the data that I
Yes,
gave to.
yes, because when you download like WhatsApp, so they ask you to give permission of microphone, contacts, video camera. Normally, this is important to use this application, because otherwise you cannot do the video call, you cannot send the message if you not share the contact. But basically, they gain the access on your phone.
Yeah, but not like there is mobile applications that are like they are collecting data,
Yes, behind that they collect, the data, because when we are downloading or using any free applications, and when you install it, just read that agreement which you are signing. Okay.
Yeah, yes, but I'm not speaking about, for example, Facebook or WhatsApp.
Yeah.
There is some mobile applications that are
spy applications. You say like spy applications, or
I forgot the name actually, but they are specifically to collect
spy
data.
applications, applications, which run behind the applications, and they can collect your data. They can be like a malicious code which is downloaded by some advertise, which appeared with some application, and you have clicked on it. And so, yeah, they can be possible. Yes, they can install and they collect your data without knowing you, without your permission.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
One last question, maybe.
Yes, I can see Jamaat Ali asks, sir, can you please let me know that as an expert in data, how do you think the field of data science will impact on the current process of data security? Yes, data science is amazing. All we are generating the data. We we have now is highly clouds where the data is storing. So we are playing with that. So yes, in data security, the data science play the important role, where we can, analyze the data of these attacks, and we can have ideas, and we can measure their impacts. So yes, it's a great field. It will have a lot of impact on that. Sir, do you know Ardil Oskaya? He's our legend about cybersecurity. I don't know. Dr. Faiza might know about Ardil.
No, me too, neither.
No, Cesar, I don't have idea about Ardil Oskaya. There are many cyber experts around the world. Some are hidden, some are, on public, but a lot of people, I see so many students, around me here. They are highly expert in, these offensive activities. So yes, so he might be a researcher or might be from the industry. Sorry, I don't have idea about it. Okay. So, Dr. Faiza.
I think Let
Yes.
me thank you once more.
Yeah, you're welcome. And he is living legend. I hope we can see you both in a discussion. Okay. So let me know who is this guy, Caesar. Caesar, who is that guy? You know.
Okay.
No answer from the Caesar. Dr. Faiza, after this seminar, I may need your 5 minutes, so we will continue that. Let's see if any other question. I will be happy, but it's very interesting. Thank you very much for your active participation. This is always fruitful that if you ask the question, I would say this is my reward that you know, ask me the questions and try my best to give you the answer. And thank you everyone.
Okay, so we may maybe conclude the seminar. Dear students, let's meet next week to continue our discussion in the class. So the lecture is over for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you to all of you. Have a good night.